Welcome back. Welcome back. It's the playoffs. That means the tiers are playoffs. All the teams that did not make playoffs or the play-in will be off. As you know, Finn and Slim will make their one move for a team to move up or down the tiers at the end. However, we'll get right into it. Make sure you leave a comment on your move too, because that's super important to us so we can see. But downside. This is the downside of the play-in. These teams did not do their work in the regular season enough to be able to be competing for this playoffs. They're both under 500, simply not good enough. That is the Hawks and the Bulls. The upside of the play-in, the Warriors and Kings both are at like 46 wins. That's a playoff team. The Kings lost 2 games in comparison to last season as a 3 seed, and now they are a 9 seed. Wild. But this is the upside of the playoffs. These teams are good enough to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of are they going to get there. Congrats. The Pacers and the Magic, congrats for making it. Both young teams. I think that the Magic are going to be a first-round exit and the Pacers are going to move on. However, that's for the series previews, so make sure you check those out, coming out every single day. Again, is the Miami Heat going to be able to do this again? I think no, personally. But are we trusting them to do it again? I don't know. Some people are, some people aren't. It's looking based on the lines and everything that they're probably going to play Boston in round 1. Could they beat them again? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. Big mistake. Similar to the tier last week of Miami losing the 1, you lost the game that mattered. You win that game, you get the first round versus the T-Wolves, which I think you have a decent shot at. Now you got to play the Lakers, and then if you lose that one, then you got to play the Kings or Warriors, which are both very good teams. And even if you win the first one, you get Denver in the first round. Just terrible. You had to win that game, and you got dominated. You escaped. The Suns did escape the play-in. Congrats to them. I think they got a great chance against the T-Wolves. I don't know if they'll pull through, but this is a team that we had very high expectations for coming into the season. We're top 5 in championship odds basically the whole year. Now they've dropped, but I mean, the Suns team is definitely dangerous with those guys. The Doc effect. The Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, they have just been as bad gets. Giannis is doubtful for game 1. I think we're going to see something pretty similar to what we saw last year, where they dropped the games at home as the top seed, and it's just too tough to come back from losing 1 or 2 of those if you're not going to win on the road. And I mean, while Milwaukee could win on the road, I think Indy's going to be jumping, so you never know, but that's the Doc effect right there. Just losing games that you shouldn't have no business losing. February. You wish it was February. These 2 teams I thought were the second best teams in their respective conferences in February, like to win. And both of them have fallen down to the 4 seed. And I know the Clippers have been hovering around there for a while, but these teams just do not look like themselves. And they're going to be grueling series now versus the Mavericks and the Magic. Reward. This is your reward. The Lakers, if you win this play-in game, you're going to get the Nuggets as your reward. That sucks. You just don't want to see that team at any point. Philly, you have, before his injury, the MVP, but now you get to play the Knicks in the first round, who look like debatably the second best team in the East, and vice versa for the Knicks. You debatably the second best team for the Sixers if they win that play-in game. Just really tough things. Like the Knicks won a barn burner in overtime versus the Bulls, and you get probably the Sixers or even the Heat in round 1 when you could have been 1 seed lower and gotten the Pacers. Like, it's just a tough draw. Answer the call. T-Wolves have expectations. You've been tied for the 1 seed or had the 1 seed multiple times throughout the season. Your defense is top 3 in the NBA. You gotta freaking win this game. You gotta win this series. You gotta win the game. It's time for the expectations to really come true for this team. Just be you. I think these are the second tier of teams in the Western Conference. These 2 teams just have to play their ball, and I don't see many teams beating them, if any. Like, they're that good. But that would be the Mavericks and the Thunder. Your worst enemy is yourself. The Boston Celtics' worst enemy is the Boston Celtics. If they don't win it this year, there's 0 excuses. The East is as wide open for them as ever. Like, they're just by far and away the best team. Every metric, everything you look at says this team is the best, this team is the best. There's no excuse. If you go back to that one-on-one, I can beat you kind of style, you're going to lose probably, and it's just unacceptable. Even if you play Denver, which, repeat. Denver, to me, is the best team in the NBA with the experience. They haven't had those meltdowns that the Celtics have had as of late, and they've proven that they can get to the tallest mountain in the NBA, which is winning a title. So the Nuggets are the top of the tiers for the playoffs. But that is the first edition of the playoff tiers. We will go until about the conference finals, so about 3 more weeks of this. But thank you. Week 26, if you want to count it that way.
It's going to be a sad day when the 2023-2024 season tiers comes to an end. I mean, we'll obviously be back at it, cracking next year, dialed in to hopefully a bigger fan base. But I mean, this has been a huge part of the channel. We love doing this. You guys love watching it. So it's going to be tough to see her go. I mean, there's a couple moves that are jumping right off the page to me. Would you be opposed to me making this real quick, Sim?
Go ahead.
Here we're going to do. Go down. So
here,
yeah, right here. Perfect. So I tend to do this with the tiers. Okay, I cause a couple conundrums here and there. Sue me. Do I think the T-Wolves are a better team than the team I'm about to move up? I do. But at the end of the day, if this team just plays like themselves and each individual guy plays the way I know they can and the way they should and the way they have, are they in a better spot than the teams that they're currently in the tiers with? Yes. Bing bong! I'm bringing the Knicks up. Just be you. You have Brunson plays the way he's supposed to play. Josh Hart plays the way he's been playing. DiVincenzo plays the way he's been playing. Hartenstein, Mitch Robb, all the supporting cast. If everybody does their job and plays the way they're supposed to play and the way they've been playing, I think they're far and away the second best team in the East. And I know we had some Sixers dialogue the other day, and I was very high on them midseason. These are both, by the way, teams that I despised. But at the end of the day, I just feel like they belong in that group. If the defining characteristics are just be you and you'll go far, I think that's what the Knicks need to lean heavily on.
That's a fact.
It's true.
Beautifully spoken by my brother. Go back one more time for me, Maddie.
To the top or down?
Down.
Don't do it.
You know I'm going to do it.
Don't do it, bro.
Go back one more. Go ahead.
We're not moving the Hawks again.
No, we're not moving the Hawks.
Okay.
I'm taking the Golden State Warriors from upside, and I'd be putting them in answer the call. I feel as if they, even though being in the play-in, we saw that with Miami last year, 8 seed make it to the finals. I think that Curry and those guys definitely have an opportunity to use their veteranship and their history. Just as much as we don't want to count Denver out, we don't want to count Boston out. They are significantly better teams. But I think once it comes down to this time of year, I think it definitely has teams lean on veteranship. And we know what Curry does. We know what Clay does. And I think the addition of Brandon Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis, and all of those cats, they may just sneak their way into Western Conference Finals, maybe against Denver. But I could definitely see something like that. So I'm moving Warriors up. Or second round.
I think if they get out of the play-in, which would be remarkable in itself to me personally, because I do think that the Lakers and Pels are better teams, and you could even argue that the Kings are a better team. But I think matching up with OKC is something similar we could see to versus the Kings last year, something similar in that way. I just can't move them that high because I haven't seen them be able to do it, and that's the biggest issue. I still do. If that ends up happening and they end up getting the 8 seed, I would pick OKC, but it would be a great series. Like it wouldn't be a 4 or 5 game series. It would be a 6.
I think 6 or 7. I don't know, man. And not to even mention, I forgot to mention Draymond. With the addition of Draymond there available on the floor and the chemistry they got going with those guys and those cats who know how to show up, know how to manipulate the pace, know how to manipulate the game. We've never really seen that before. So I think if they beat Sacramento, the Lakers are going to have to watch out for New Orleans. Go check that video out, Lakers, New Orleans. But definitely going to need to step up and really show you, all right, we can take care of the Kings. may be able to take care of Pels or Lakers. So I think they definitely could get that spot. And then from then on, if they make it to the first round, slippery slope. You don't want to do it.
It's true. Once you get in the dance, you can always dance. But that's it for the first edition of the Playoff Tiers. Make sure to subscribe if you're a fan of this kind of stuff. We do it every Tuesday. And if you want to see your move made, leave a comment because we take all suggestions here at the council.
If you're feeling some type of way about any move we made, dude, get at me in the comments. I'm ready to defend my honor.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe.